Gina K Designs has 4 new gorgeous colors of inks. They come in cube size, full pad size, refills, and there's also cardstock. Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. In today's video, I'll be sharing the cubes of those new ink colors and a stamp and die set from the latest release. Let's jump right in and look at those new ink colors and how they blend out so beautifully. Here are the 4 new colors of Gina K Designs ink. Starting by showing you the color Petunia. Now, again, I have the cubes here. I will link down below to the full-size ink pads as well as the refills and the cardstock, so you can check them all out. The next color is the yellow color. It is called Marigold. Look at how smooth that blends. I am so impressed. These are just such gorgeous colors. Next is Kelly Green. It's funny because somebody asked me in my last Gina K Designs video if their emerald color was more green. This is a definite green. Kelly Green is definitely green, and the blue is called Cadet blue, and they all blend just beautifully. The stamp set that I'm working with this month is called Special Delivery Pandas. There are 3 panda images, a mailbox image, and 4 beautiful sentiments. I love the script on these sentiments. Now, let's use those new supplies from Gina K Designs to make a few cards. To start out, I'll stamp some of the images with Gina K Designs amalgam ink in obsidian. I love these crisp, clear lines you can get with this amalgam ink, and it is safe to use with either watercolor or alcohol-based markers. And I'll do a little bit of alcohol ink coloring today. I'm not going to share too much of it, but you'll see the results. Next, I colored in a couple of the images and I grabbed the dies. Those matching dies are really handy to have because then you can pop things up and get dimension behind your images or your sentiments. I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of white cardstock. I'm using hammer mill because it's pretty smooth and I want a nice smooth blend, but the ink is really gorgeous. It's blending on very smoothly. You can see how you can get that more rich, opaque color on the edges of the paper because I'm going over them so many different times. And then I'm softening up as I go in towards the center. And this gives it sort of a spotlight or glowing effect. And that's what I'm going for with this Marigold. It's such a great color for this, so I wanted to take advantage of that. I cut the panel down to 4 by 5 1/4, and I'll add a little Spellbinders tape runner to the back and then mat it on an A2 piece of white cardstock. Then I'll use some foam squares to pop up the mailbox and one of the little pandas as well as one of the sentiments. And that's all you need. You don't need really fancy coloring, so don't worry too much about that. You can definitely do that if that is your thing and if you're good at that. But if you're not, please don't stress about that. These images are fun to color in for somebody like me who is not an expert at that type of thing. So for this background, I decided to cover the whole panel with Cadet blue, and I really like the moody effect that it gives. Again, I die cut and colored in the image, and I have die cut the sentiment. I cut down the panel to 4 by 5 1/4. Nope, actually, I cut this one down to 3 3/4 by 5. Just to give a slightly bigger mat and a little bit of a difference since I was only using one image here. So I'll pop that image and the sentiment up on foam squares again, and that completes this card as well. If you don't have the dies, this is something I've shared in the past that I like to do with new ink colors. You can create a bokeh effect and really have a nice look with a bunch of different colored inks. All you need is an ink cube or an ink pad and some type of blending tool. I like these brushes, but you can use whatever you want. And you're circular blending little spots of color on a white piece of cardstock. You're not trying to blend everything out together. A little bit of white space here and there is perfectly acceptable for this type of background. It's supposed to look like those blurry balls of color that you sometimes see during the holidays when people take those out of focus images of lights that make them look round and large. So that's the background effect that we're going for here. It doesn't need to be all blended out. Then I'll take one of the panda stamps and one of the sentiments and lay it down right on top. And then I'll use the same ink that I used before, the Gina K Designs amalgam ink. The beauty of this is that it also stamps really nicely on top of the other Gina K inks, so it will still stand out. It will look nice and crisp. I usually like to stamp it twice, but that is because my pad is pretty old and I don't re-ink all the time, so you may only need to stamp once. For this one, I did stamp twice to get a really, really crisp black impression. So you can see here I'm re-inking up the stamp, and that, of course, is why it's nice to have that stamp positioner so that you can do that without worrying about kind of messing up the lines or smearing them. I did cut this down once again to 4 by 5 1/4, use a little bit of tape runner behind that and matted it on some white cardstock for that nice finished edge. I think that the mats really kind of pull the whole card together, especially with the white space in between. Now there were a couple little spots here and there that I decided to add some gel pen details. Now I have both silver gel pen and white gel pen and a gold gel pen. And there are a couple of different brands that I like to use. One of my favorites is Pentel, and I do switch back to one of the Pentel milky white gel pens quite often because I feel like they just last the longest, honestly. And those were just little details to add to fill in some of the candy cane stripes and other things on the card. I love when Gina K comes out with new ink colors because they're always so gorgeous. I love these brights, and I love that there's cardstock available. I'll definitely be grabbing some of that in the future. But of course, I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me today. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you again soon.